Oh boy, all right, Ray. Welcome to episode 21
21.
of our Run Club
Yes,
podcast.
indeed.
So we're old enough to drink now.
We are. So let's have a cocktail.
Is that what you brought? I brought a iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts.
Iced coffee, right? Did you put a little ripple in there or something?
No.
I didn't. Okay, I didn't put anything in my water, by the way. Even though I'm 21.
It's early.
It's
We
early.
record this at like 9
Yes.
in the morning. We don't need to be.
Yeah, it's no sense in juicing up at 9 o'clock in the
No.
morning. Kidding me?
But our podcast runs on Dunkin'.
Runs on Dunkin'.
How about that?
Yeah, it's tasty. Dunkin'.
Oh, so good. It's
Yeah.
like a little treat. It's like a tasty treat.
Yeah. And you prefer ice coffee
see,
or
today,
hot coffee?
Today it was, she like kind of talked me into a nice coffee.
Yeah.
The lady.
The lady did? Really?
Yeah. No, she didn't talk me into it, but she made me think about it.
Oh.
She made me think about it. Because I was like, I want a medium decaf coffee. And then she was like, hot or iced? And then in my head I was like,
She
man,
planted the seed.
the iced coffee is like such a tasty treat.
It is. It's got candy, actually.
Yeah,
It's
I was
different.
like, get the little sugar crumblies down at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best part.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sucking up just a spoonful of sugar.
A spoonful of sugar helps the coffee go down or something like that.
I think that's how it goes. But yeah, so I went iced coffee today. And then I got a blueberry muffin,
Cool.
which also had sugar crumbles on the top.
On the top of it.
Feeling good.
Wow. Yeah. Woo!
I'm all
You
jazzed.
better run that stuff off later. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I
Have
bet.
you run yet today?
No,
It's probably been easy.
Ah,
to run
dude,
these
I haven't
days.
run in like,
I know.
it's almost been a month.
It's tough. You'll figure it out for sure. But having a baby, really, it's hard. It's hard.
There's no time, man.
The
There's
first
no
days are the
time.
hardest days.
There's no time. And then I get home, and my wife's been with the baby all day, and so she's like, here you go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I don't got no time.
Yeah, no. It's hard. It's hard, man. You're gonna find time. It'll work itself out for both of you.
Yeah.
For Christine as well.
I think once she starts running again, we'll be good.
Yep.
We'll make time for each other, and then it won't feel so like I'm just going for a run and making her feel like, well, I'm not doing anything, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good when she's back.
It will.
And she'll be back.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. How's your running going, man?
It's going well. I can't complain. It's been doing it, so it's good.
That's good. I
It's
mean,
been good. Although the weather's been kind of weird. The temperature hasn't been that bad. I think it's been seasonably cooler,
yeah, it has been. It's all
or unseasonably cooler, something like that. But it's been cooler. For May 3rd, it's chilly out there.
It's chilly.
Not a lot of sun. It's really dreary. That's what I'm bumming about. I need a little more sunlight. It's just cloudy. It's
Need a little
cloudy and
vitamin
dreary.
D. Need a little vitamin D.
Need a little vitamin D.
I was up at the track yesterday doing some workout
Yeah.
with our beginning crew. It was freezing, man.
Yeah.
Wind's blowing, cloudy.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck? It's May.
I know.
Let's go.
Let's
go here, man.
I'm afraid it's just going to go from cold to hot and humid,
That's it.
which is typically how it goes here in southern New England. You don't really get a true spring, a transition to spring,
No, you go snow to 89 and 1,000% humidity.
Yeah.
So you haven't been running?
I have been running, yes. I've been running and it's been going well, yeah.
That's
I had a longer run earlier in the week and, 5 or 6 milers between then and now, just,
Sweet.
yeah, feel good.
And do you run like every day?
I try to run every day, but no, it's not reality. Like Wednesdays are tough for me. Things come up, Got the 2 kids. My wife likes to run too. We've got things going on. Complete social life outside of work, and so it's hard. So sometimes I have to have a bye day or 2.
Do you go to like social events? Do you go to like galas?
I go to social galas. This weekend I have a cotillion that I'm going to be going to, and no, I don't even know what a cotillion is. We do have social events, but I don't do galas, no.
No, because the Mets having their annual gala. I saw it on the Today Show.
Nice.
Yeah, but
You gotta get all dressed up for that.
all dolled up.
All
Have you ever been to
dolled
the Met? The Met's huge.
I've never been to the
You should
Met.
go to the Met.
Let's check it out.
It's pretty sweet.
Cool.
And I think you can pay as much as you want to pay.
Really, is that kind of thing?
Yeah.
And it's probably like, is it like a charitable kind of thing?
I think so. I think it just goes to the Met.
Oh, that's a good charity, right?
Yeah. And then so I paid a little bit. I paid like $5.
Are you going to that?
Yeah, I got invited to go to the Met Gala.
Nice.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez.
You have to be
You're just pulling one
No,
over.
I'm pulling one over. You have to be some fancy hotshot to go to that thing.
Well, you
Sure.
have to hear fancy hot shot, that's for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks. But no, the Met's huge.
Yeah.
You get some miles in at the Met.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, it's okay. All right.
Sorry, I digress.
That's okay.
Um,
What are we here to, I mean,
I don't know.
what are we doing here?
I don't know, Ray. What are we doing? What are we
Yeah.
talking about today, man?
This is a podcast about running, so I guess we should probably delve into that.
That's a good idea. You know, the Kentucky Derby is this weekend.
Wow. Do you have your hat? You have a hat set up?
No, I
Kentucky
don't.
Derby hat?
I don't have a hat set up, but the horses are going to be running, so that's
They're
something.
going to be running, right? Is it going to be racing?
They'll be racing.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
We can definitely talk about that if we want to. Let's get some mint juleps. Since we're 21, we might as well have a mint julep, right?
Yeah,
What the
exactly.
heck, man? Jeez.
Yeah. Do you ever watch the Kentucky Derby? Are you into that?
I mean, I've watched it before, and I don't really go too over the top of, horse racing, but it's kind of like this big build-up, this huge build-up and build up,
So true.
and then it's done in like, what, minutes?
Right. Yeah. They did run the
So-
thing and it's over, and then it's like, oh well, that guy won, so yay.
Yeah. So,
Anyway.
I mean, it's cool. If you like horse racing, it's definitely
Yeah. I'm not a big fan. I feel like they're all on steroids.
Oh, geez, yeah, it could be. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Do they test horses? Like they test Olympic athletes and stuff?
That's a good question. I don't know enough about it.
Me neither.
Maybe they do.
Do you hear that thing about the lady from South Africa who's a track athlete?
I heard that she's not able to run for the South African team
Yeah.
because her testosterone level's too high.
Isn't that
Is there
crazy?
something like that? Yeah, it seems kind of weird to me.
I don't think you should be able to like dictate that
Yeah.
if you're like the international whatever amateur athletic federation or whatever.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to dictate that.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I don't know if it's anything that she can control, right?
Right.
So, it's not. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of weird.
That is kind of weird.
I think she should be able to compete, and I don't really. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, me neither.
So that's too bad.
It is too bad.
You know.
Anyway, sorry
Yeah.
about this. We're just all over the place today.
We're all over the place. We're kind of like, we're just out there.
But today, our topic we're gonna talk about.
The topic that we're going to talk about today was burnout.
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 Like Ray back in high school.
But, no.
I'm just kidding.
I was an athlete.
I'm just kidding.
Did you ever burn out on anything? Did you ever have a situation where you burned out on something? Like you just
We're just like done with it.
done with it for whatever reason.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
I've burnt out on running.
Yep.
I've burnt out on like eating the same food over and over
I
again.
burnt out on yogurt.
Like ham and rice. My mom used to make
Ham and rice. Yeah.
She used to make ham and rice all the time.
You burn out on that.
I was just like, enough with the ham and rice, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out.
I can't do another slice of ham or another grain of rice. I can't do it.
I can't.
I burned out on yogurt. Different flavors of yogurt.
Yeah.
I still like yogurt, but there's certain flavors. Yeah. Grapes too. Red
Burnt
seedless
out on
grapes.
grapes.
But I've had a situation where I burned out on work,
Oh, yeah.
certain jobs. People burn out in
Too.
certain jobs, or they burn out on, it could be anything. Activity, a sport, an exercise. In this
True.
case, it's running. And you said you burned out on running?
Oh, yeah. A couple times.
And what kind of shape or form did that come in? How did it manifest itself? Tell us a little bit about that burnout.
Sure. So I burned out on running most recently after the Philadelphia Marathon.
Mhm.
So I think I've talked about that race before. It's a very good race.
You
know, I
have talked about
trained
that.
very well for it.
I remember you did. You were
6
doing a lot
months,
of running.
Probably 6 months of training hard. Got
Yeah.
out there, did my 22 milers, got my long run, my fast finish long runs, did a lot of workouts, did a lot of running. Was running probably 100 miles a week, something silly like that. And then I got to the race, had a good race, and then I didn't run for like 6 months.
Really? 6 months. So okay.
Yeah. I was just burnt out, man.
It was training for a marathon is grueling, right?
Yeah,
Let's face it. You're doing a lot of miles.
it is.
If you're doing it the right way, you're following a structured plan
Right.
and with not too much wiggle room, right? You've got to kind of stick to that plan.
Gotta stick to the plan, man.
And it's grueling, and you've got to, most humans are managing, lives, right? Work, families,
Yeah.
on top of all that
Training.
physical activity, all that training.
Yeah.
So I could see where you could burn out on something like that. So then, after 6 months, you just didn't feel it.
I didn't feel it, man. I
Yeah.
didn't feel it. I kind of hit the wall, It was
Mhm.
just like it was like a huge build. It's kind of like the Kentucky Derby,
Huge
This
build-up.
Huge build up, 6 months, and then you do your race, and then it's like,
Yeah,
okay, I did it. I'm done.
yeah.
And then I shut it down for a while. And I just couldn't get back into it. Like, it took me, like I said, 6 months to kind of I probably ran like every once in a while
Yeah.
within those 6 months, but it was never really like consistently getting out there again. Just because I didn't feel like it.
You weren't feeling it when you got out
I
there.
wasn't feeling it.
Did you just feel crappy when you were out there running? Or
I just felt crappy. I just felt like I didn't want to do it.
yeah.
Like I had enough running already. I was done. And then I knew like, okay, I qualified for Boston, so I got to train for Boston.
Train for that,
And
yeah.
then it just added like a whole nother level of like, crap, I don't want to do this. Like I know how much work I just did for Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do a similar amount or more if I want to run faster.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, I don't want to do that. It was just too much,
Yeah.
So I'm burnt out.
Just burned out. And so emotionally, obviously, it sounded like you were burned out. Physically, did you feel like you were burned out, or did they play into each other?
Yeah, a little bit. Sorry, I'm yelling. Yeah, a little bit.
That's more coffee. Oh, that's not even
That's
caffeine.
decaf coffee.
Decaf. They're gonna do anything for you.
That's great. But no, I felt a little bit, physically run down when I got done with the marathon.
Yeah.
And that kind of played into it where it was like exhausting just to do anything.
Yeah.
But I think it was more mental than it was physical for me.
Okay.
I do a pretty good job of recovering, but like mentally I was not tough enough to get out there and
Do it again.
slog through
Yeah.
miles and miles of running.
Mm-hmm.
It's a battle, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep, felt pretty burnt out. How about you, man? You ever been burnt out?
As far as running is concerned, yeah, I mean, I don't know that it was as serious as I think what you experienced. But I mean, I've had times where I've just, I could try to run regularly, and there's times where it's like, it's kind of an ebb and flow kind of thing. Where sometimes I'm motivated to do it, and I do it automatically, and then there are periods of time where it's just hard to get out the door.
Right.
I just don't feel like doing it. And then there's times where I'm doing it, right, but I get out the door,
Yeah.
but it's,
Just not
I'm not
feeling it.
necessarily feeling good.
Mhm.
I might not just be into it, might not be enjoying it. Yeah, I've been there before, for sure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one time when it was after like college, so like you have your college running career, and then you're done, and then it's like now you have to kind of do your own thing,
Yeah.
and that was kind of like a burnout situation
Mm-hmm.
where it was like I'm used to having practice every day at 3:30 or whatever, and then it kind of just goes away, and you don't like you don't have to run, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then I was like, oh, wow, this is interesting.
Yep.
Like I don't have to do this. But then I ended up taking some time off and then realizing like, oh, I want to run, you know?
So after a period of time, you wanted to get back into
Yeah,
it? Okay.
yeah. I think it was just burnt out from like running through high school and then like cross country, indoor, outdoor.
Yeah, it's
College,
Yep.
cross country, indoor, outdoor.
3 seasons. It's just constant, and then you've got your summer training.
Summer
and
training, yeah.
You're never really
Yep,
getting
yeah.
a break. It never lets up. So I could see where that would be a very common thing for a lot of high school athletes.
Yeah.
At least high school athletes I know around here, and it's just, yeah, 3 seasons, and then summer training, and that's pretty structured nowadays. And so, yeah, and I mean, first of all, if your body doesn't rebel on you and you get injured, it's easy to burn out. Yeah,
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it was like 8 years straight of just running.
yeah,
And like, you know, you get you got races like every week and it just adds up and then you get done and next thing you know, you're on your own.
yeah.
So yeah, I think after college I took a few months off too. And part of it was like just not having a team or a practice time to
Yeah.
meet up.
Right.
Go.
Yeah, you don't have that structure, you know, you don't have a team to meet up, you know, there's no accountability there, and so, you know, you're not meeting, there's no routine there, so, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so that was fun. That was another burnout situation for me.
Yeah, I would say probably, like, you know, after getting back into it, my adult years, running, when I was first pretty gung-ho and I got back into running, and I was running a lot more races, and I was pretty psyched about that, you know, and I was always training for something. And I think I got kind of burned out with that, you know, always having to do races and events. And I haven't done a lot of racing really in like a few years, and not in the training cycle, but I've been getting out and running regularly, you know, to stay fit and healthy. But I think I just got burned out with having to always figure like every weekend I was going to have a race, and you know, and it was, you know, you know, I had kids, and then it was that kind of threw a new dimension in there too, and then I had to work around that, and yeah, I think I just got kind of burned out having to like go out there and train and have certain, you know, specific workouts.
Right.
Then I could go and get into the race and run a race, and you know, dealing with the recovery after the race. I think I got burned out on that, you know.
Oh, blame you, man.
So yeah, it's sometimes nice not to be in a training cycle.
I bet your rivals were pumped that you got burnt out on races.
I don't know.
Do you have any did you have any like rivals that you would like
I think everybody does.
get after it and you'd be like, ah, that guy's here. Ah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that most people do, who, you know, or a lot of people do. I wouldn't say most people. I should make a generalization, but I think a lot of people have their rivals or the peers, you know, that they're running against, whether it's age group or
Right.
Age group rivals. You know.
I thought you were going to be a rival at that Roger Williams.
As a race, yep.
I thought you looked so fast. You intimidated me. And I thought you were someone else who was really
You did.
fast.
You thought I was a completely different runner.
I thought you were just like a really fast Olympic
Yes,
caliber athlete
I
who
know.
showed up to some 5K. And I was like, oh crap.
Who's this guy?
Who's this guy? Why is this guy here? And then I was like, all right, it's right.
You must have felt great when you were passing me on the last like 200 yards. You know, you were like, oh my God, I'm passing him. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm doing it. I'm beating him.
And I was like,
And then you found out, it must have been a letdown when you found out that I wasn't, you know, who you thought I was.
right. Oh, it's like, yeah, who's Ray Sokorowitz?
That's funny. Yeah, who's this guy?
Who's this guy? But yeah, that was fun. So you got burnt out on racing, huh?
Yeah.
Was it any specific distance or just like every,
Nah,
just the process of
Just
racing?
always, you know, I like going to races. It's fun to be in that environment and atmosphere, but it's like, yeah, I just kind of got burned out. Like, okay, I got to train for this, train for that. Got to find a race. Or this race is coming up, got to do it. Got to run certain times. And I was just like, yeah.
You know what? Forget that.
Forget that. I will race again. I certainly
Yeah.
will.
We don't have to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. But it just kind of burned out on that. So yeah.
I can understand that. I think
Can
I'm
happen.
kind of in that same boat now too. Like I used to go and do like a 5K every weekend back in the day.
Yeah.
And then like you just get kind of done with it. Just like, all right, enough.
Yeah. So then what do? For me, is like take a little break from that. I wanted to continue running.
Yeah.
I wanted it to still be enjoyable, and you know, so you take a break.
Yeah, you get burnt out, take a break.
That's, I guess, really, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do if you get
Right.
what if you do get burned out?
Yeah, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a little commercial break?
Let's take a little commercial break.
And then when we come back, what we'll talk about is how you can combat burnout.
Yes.
Maybe how you can like detect it in yourself.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap it up with that. Sound
Cool.
good?
That
Little
sounds
break.
good.
We're back.
We're back.
And we're talking burnout today. So maybe now we talked a little bit about how we've been like past burnout situations for us. Like, you know, I'm sick of running marathons because the training kind of wears you down.
Yeah.
You're sick of running races just because the training is brutal. And let's talk a little bit about like how you noticed you were getting burnt out. So did you have like some sensations that you were feeling or like some thoughts that were going through your head where you were like, oh boy, I'm kind of getting done with this?
Yeah, it's just feeling kind of like, I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to go do this workout. I'm going to do a track workout today, or I'm going to do a hill workout today. It's like, I don't want to do this. You know? And you do it and get through it, but you just feel like, I felt myself that I didn't necessarily put 100% into it, or, you know, get into it, start beating myself up, or just not feeling like a zest to go out there and do it.
Right.
Or didn't feel that oomph when I was going out there and actually doing it. So, yeah, you kind of sense it. All kind of have to do with like, kind of like an emotional level.
Right.
I wanted to do it.
Now I read somewhere, maybe this was in a book. This was in a book somewhere. I think it was a fiction book, but it was about running, and it's like they talk a little bit about like breaking down or like burning out. I took it as.
Yeah.
And like if you can run through that burnout period and get to like the other side and still continue to run,
Yeah.
that the gains are like even better.
Mhm.
Do you think that's true, or is that just like you're gonna hurt yourself and probably hate yourself for mentally taxing yourself?
I mean, I think I could see trying to work through something like that, especially if you're in a training cycle and you're running a big race. I think that the gains are probably better or more positive. But I think there's a very fine line too, where sometimes if you overdo it, you might run the risk of injuring yourself, perhaps overdoing it. And I know some people who've gotten runners who've just completely were just burned out so much that they just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like
I think that might be what happened to me with that Philly marathon. Is it was like probably I was getting burnt out towards the end of the training cycle. Like 6 months is kind of a silly long time to train for a marathon.
And it's a long time.
And so like I got to the end, and I'm like getting burnt out and sick of it, and just don't want to do it. But you have the races coming up, so you can't not run. You got to continue doing your training. So you kind of push through, and you're like grinding it out. And then maybe if I hadn't trained for 6 months, maybe if I did 4 months, I would have got to the race and then kind of like not taken as much of a break after the marathon.
Okay.
Maybe enjoyed running a little bit more.
Yeah. So maybe overdid it a little too much, or went too
so.
long.
Yeah.
So not overdoing it.
Right. I think that's something that
To prevent that, like
Yeah.
being proactive, or thinking about your training plan before you go into it, making sure that you don't overdo it so you don't burn out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you got to pay attention to your body. Listen to yourself. Like if you're getting some aches and pains that you hadn't gotten before, you got to back it off. Mentally too, like listen to yourself.
Yeah, listen to your mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think mentally you have to listen to yourself. And I think being mindful of what you're feeling, emotionally, right, and mentally, and trying to figure out maybe what's the cause of the reason why you don't want to go out there and run.
Right. Find the root cause of it. And
Find the
try
root cause of
to
it.
Figure it out.
Try to figure it out. Try to be mindful of that and understand what it is. And sometimes that even could be enough to help get you through it.
Were you able to do that with your racing burnout? Did you figure out what the thing was? That was causing you?
For me, it was, yes. I was able to separate the fact that I didn't necessarily want to go out and race all the time, but I want to continue running. So once I was able to separate the fact that I didn't feel like competing, then I felt better.
Yeah.
Okay? That doesn't mean that not wanting to compete doesn't mean that I don't want to run.
Right.
Right? So when I was able to grapple with that, figure that out, then running became a little bit more, it was more enjoyable to do. I can go out there and do it, and it was great,
Interesting.
I can go as many miles as I want, or I can go as fast as I want. I can do workouts when I want, and they help me physically and emotionally. But, once I was able to just separate that out.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Like you were able to say like, running doesn't equal racing.
Yeah, right.
Running is like a lifestyle
Yep.
as opposed to like just a means to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it freed me up to really want to go out there and try different things too. Like I'd go out and, I was going to do a little trail running, right? Or I was going to go out and I was going to go out and run. And in this run, I was going to run for an hour, but I was going to try to hit everything. I was going to try to hit a track. I was going to try to hit the road. I was going to try to hit the woods and mix it all up. So.
Did you do a little parkour?
A little bit. A little parkour, right?
Jump over
That's
a
cool.
bench,
Running a
jump
parkour,
over.
yeah. Running over a park bench. I started with park benches and worked my way up to half rails.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you'd be jumping skyscraper to skyscraper.
I don't know that I'm going to be doing that, but who knows? The sky's the limit on that one. So it's just kind of like I had to separate what it was about it that was burning me out.
I hear you.
Sometimes it's just a matter of taking a little time, maybe a little breather, let my body rest, take a couple of days off from running, or a few days, or however long, then that helps. And then for me, it was just, I want to keep doing this, but what's making me kind of not want to do it?
Right.
Yeah.
And just having that separation was it for you?
Yep, that was it was like I was being mindful of that. Like, what is the reason here?
Right. That's interesting. I think for me, when I just dialed back my expectations of myself,
Yeah.
then I have more. I'm less likely to get burnt out. I think with a lot of the training, like through college and through like that first marathon, it was a lot of like I put too much pressure on myself to do well, because it's like, oh, it's your first marathon. You got to do good. You got to train. Like you got to do a lot of work because it's gonna happen. And you got to run 26 miles and blah blah blah. And then in college, you have a team, and you feel like you got to win because you got to score points for your team, and a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you burn out, and that plays right into the burnout. You know what I mean? That's just, oh gosh, it just beats on you.
Yeah. But then if you make that that leap to kind of like you did, where you just go it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. You gotta have fun with it. You gotta enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Yep.
I know that there's maybe people will look at your time and be like, oh, what happened? Why did you run so slow or whatever? But you just gotta be able to not care. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Right. You gotta
Whatever.
give yourself a break. People. I talk to a lot of runners, and it's the same kind of thing. It's people have a lot of high expectations for themselves. They want to run this amount of races. They want to run at this time. They want to improve, and it's all good. It really, really is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying running races is not a good thing. I'm not saying wanting to have a certain time or a certain distance or nothing. Or you want to place in your age group, or you want to win the race. It's all good. I'm not saying that it's bad, but I think sometimes people can overdo it. I've definitely been there. I've overdone it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of similarities in all of the runners that I know, and that is they put these people put expectations on themselves, and that can really burn you out. And for me, it did. And You know, I mean, I'd be out there sometimes and it's just be like, I don't want to do this. So I created a mantra.
Yeah.
You know, I'd go out there and it's like, you got to enjoy this. I would tell myself, you have to enjoy this. This is supposed to be enjoyable. This is what you need, you know. This is supposed to be fun, so make it fun. Enjoy this. You know.
I like that.
Mantras are good, I think.
Mantras are good.
Mantras are good for a lot of things.
They are a good way
for runners.
to kind of get through a burnout situation too.
For a burnout situation, for training, high intensity training, training for whatever distance you're going to do if you're going to race, a mantra is definitely helpful. And in this case, for me, it was helpful to get through a burnout.
It is, yeah. I have a mantra when I'm racing, and it's just not think.
Yeah, and you tell yourself not to think. Don't think.
Don't think.
Yep.
Don't think. Don't think.
Yeah.
And that's my mantra.
Yeah.
It's maybe not the best.
It's a good one.
It works.
If it works for you, it's the best.
That's it.
It's the best.
That's all that matters.
So, yeah. But it's just, you're just talking about that, it's just like putting like high expectations, and that can play into the burnout. I know it has for me, and I know it has for a lot of other runners I've talked to. So yeah.
Yeah.
You get there. So, I find changing it up too. I think if you're burned out, maybe stepping away for a while, taking a break, that's okay. But then changing things up. Changing things up a little bit. Like I would try something different, hit the trails, and I hadn't done that before, or get on the track and do a track workout, or maybe I'll do a hill workout just for the sake of doing a hill workout and getting that, exercise. But shorten up my run, do a hill workout,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or shorten up my run, but have an intense track workout. Or take a nice, long, slow, run.
Little LSD.
A little LSD.
That'll get you through. Take a little LSD.
Take a little LSD, and that will
get you.
That'll get you through.
That'll get you through your run, for sure.
Yes.
For sure. You know what, Ray? I think it's time for another installment of
F that. So, doing a hill workout one time, and I'm doing a hill workout, doing hill repeats, and every single time I got to the bottom of the hills, there's this 5-year-old kid who's running around in his yard, and he was heckling me. He's heckling me and calling me Jogger Boy. Like, hey, Jogger Boy. Hey, how's it going, Jogger Boy? Every single time I was at the bottom of the hill, getting ready to do my hill repeats. F that!
So yeah, I think a good way to avoid burnout too is to have people to run with.
That's another thing too.
Because like that group will kind of push you through that burnout stage that you're going through, and maybe if you have people to meet with, then you're more likely to kind of grind it out and get through it. But I do think it's kind of a balance, where you're like, if you're having those feelings, you're usually having them for a reason.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's not just your mind telling you to stop running. Maybe your body needs a little break. Maybe you need to chill out.
Yeah.
So I think you gotta like listen to it. Just do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel pressure from anybody else to hit a certain time, run a certain distance. Like, do you.
Right.
Don't feel obligated to do something just because people ask you to do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I say that as I have to go sign up for the Boilermaker 15K because my cousins called me and said we're doing it. So
that's some pressure, man.
I got some peer pressure and I gave into it.
You did.
And I'm saying don't do that.
Try not to cave.
Don't cave.
Don't cave on that peer pressure.
No.
Mm-hmm. It starts really young, and it just goes with you.
It's true,
with
man.
you for your entire life.
It's true.
At least that's been my experience.
Right.
Don't cave to the peer pressure. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Understand.
Do you. And don't care what other people think either.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to race, don't race.
Yep.
And if you do want to race and you're not feeling good and you have a bad day, then who gives a crap?
Right. Exactly.
It's tough for runners because those numbers are there.
I know.
Mm-hmm. And you think people are looking at them.
Yeah. Yep.
But like, who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Right. Just run.
Just run.
Yeah. And if you need a break, take a break.
Right.
Yeah. Figure it out.
Take a break, man.
That's why, I mean, with me, I want to keep running forever, you know what I mean? So I want to run forever. So I got to figure out ways to stay healthy physically and mentally too.
Right.
And when I have those physical injuries, I have to treat them and deal with them appropriately. It's not easy for all runners to do that, but I would try to do the best you can with that. I try to do the best that I can with that. But also too, when you're not feeling well emotionally and you're burned out, you gotta work your way through it. You know?
Right. It's true. And like if you are able to kind of ignore the noise and push it aside and just run because you enjoy it, then I think you'll find it's you'll like it better. It'll be more fun for you.
Yep.
Because you won't be living up to other people's expectations or caring what other people think. You just go for a run and you have fun. I find that as I've gotten older, that's kind of where I've moved to, you know? I've moved from like, oh, I got to run this time because coach wants me to run that time, or I have to run this time because, you know, there's another guy showing up and he runs faster than that, so I got to run faster than him. And then now I'm just like, I don't really care, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying this ride, you know?
Just enjoy the ride.
I mean, now I haven't been running and I'm like, I need to run.
Yeah. You need to get out there.
I need to get out there and just do it.
Right. See, so you come around.
I'm burnt out on not running.
You're burnt out on not running. Well then, you know, the best way to solve that is to get out there and run, right?
Right.
You'll figure that
I
out.
gotta figure that out.
You
the
will.
whole, like, schedule and balance and all that stuff.
Yeah. You will.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
I'm working, I'm going to school, like a baby, I'm just like...
So it's a big juggling routine, it really is.
Yeah.
It's like juggling with machetes is what it's like.
Right.
It's not easy.
I'm gonna lose an arm or something.
You might very well could lose an arm, so you gotta be careful, you know what I mean? You gotta do it right. Well, I mean, you know, I won't put any pressure on you. You're doing it right. You'll do fine. It's just new for you to juggle all those things.
You know what, you can put
Yeah.
pressure on me, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not
I don't
listening to
care.
other people's expectations.
that's
No.
right.
I'm doing me.
Doing you.
And one of these days I'll get out there and run some more.
Yeah. So, I mean, right, so do you think you might come around and want to compete again and blast it out?
Good question.
You might.
I might.
If you do, that's okay. What I'm basically trying to drive at is if you do, it's okay.
Right.
You know, if you want to do that, it's great.
Yeah, I did not enjoy getting rocked at the Shamrock Shuffle 5K by like a bunch of high school kids.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy that. So I feel like if I do come back and run more, you know, at least in the next year or 2 years or 3 years, I think if I'm under 40, I should be able to beat those high school kids. So I probably will.
You're going to go back and beat them?
Yes. And like the high school kids are just like high school kids in general.
Yeah.
Not like any specific high school kids.
Okay.
Just high school kids in general.
Mhm.
But then, you know, there's high school kids who are really fast. I just ignore them. It's like the generic high school kid.
Mhm.
I feel like I should be able to beat them.
Gotcha.
You know? So if I do run, then I'm going to try to do that. And it's not like because people are pressuring me to do it. It's just something that's internal.
Yep. If you want to do it, great.
I want to do that.
Do it.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, though. These high school kids are fast.
I know. I was doing a jingle bell run one time in Connecticut, and 2 high school kids. I was doing well in the race too, but then I ended up getting beat by 2 high school kids. One dressed like Santa, one dressed like Rudolph. They were in tandem. They had like a cord between them, like I don't know, like a rein, right? Like a horse's
yeah,
rein. Like he was, yeah, right. So
he was pulling along.
exactly. That Rudolph was pulling along Santa. High school kids in tandem, and they like beat me. You know,
That's rough.
it was horrible. I felt it was humiliating.
That's probably why you don't race anymore.
No, it wasn't. You know what? Maybe getting back to the root of where my burnout and racing started might have been that.
Could have been a
Maybe.
Rudolph run.
You know, they were fast though. That was good. I mean, you know, but I thought maybe I had a chance of winning the race. You know, And then they had jingle bells on too, and then you hear the jingle, jingle,
like,
jingle.
oh no, they're coming.
That's right, jingle, 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 and they pass me out, and they're like having a conversation with each other, like, oh man, and I'm breathing like mad. Maybe that, I'm gonna say that that's my worst race. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't my worst race, but it was cool though.
Oof.
Anyway.
That's
It's high school. They're high school kids too.
That's a
Cool,
tough
fast
one.
high school kids.
Nah,
So anyway.
enough of those high school kids.
So I don't know. I think we have to get going here.
Yeah, we kind of got to wrap it up.
We gotta wrap it up here.
Yeah. So that's episode 21. I thought that was good. We talked about Burnout.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about the Kentucky Derby.
Yes, we talked a little bit about the Kentucky
We
Derby.
talked about
Coffee.
coffee
A little bit of coffee. Iced coffee.
Iced coffee, yep.
Yeah.
Mint Juleps made an appearance.
Yep. We had a new segment in there too.
We had a new segment.
The F that
Yep.
segment.
So yeah,
Which is
good,
cool.
solid episode
Yeah,
today.
it was a good one.
We'll think about what we're going to talk about next week, right? We're not exactly sure just yet.
No, we like to mull these things over because there's just so many things, and
Right.
it can be very nebulous sometimes, and so we want to get something solid.
Yeah, we'll get something solid. We'll take a look at our social
Yep.
media, see if there's any suggestions there. And I wanted to mention too, we're now that we're on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
We just got on Spotify too.
Yeah, no, that's
so
big
that's
time.
kind of fun. That's
Big time.
That's big time.
We're making a jump there to Spotify.
Yep. So yeah, if you listen on Spotify, hello, and we'll see you next week for episode 22.
22.